Westport, on the coast of Mayo, is unusual in Ireland. It's a planned town, designed by James Wyatt. The original town was moved to its present site in the 1780s by the Brown family, who built Westport House in the 1720s. Still in the possession of the Browns, today it's the most important country house west of the Shannon. Hello, Sheelin. Sheelin Brown is a daughter of Lord and Lady Altamont. So how far back does your family lineage go?
You can go back to the 16th century, where Grace O'Malley, who was Pirate Queen of Connaught, she would actually be my 13th great-grandmother. And it was really on the site of the castle that she had here in Westport that this house was built.
And is there any remains of that?
Downstairs in the dungeons, sections of it from Grace O'Malley's time, yeah.
So there are prisoners here. She was a pirate, of course.
She was a pirate.
So who did she lock up down there?
Well, I don't know if she locked up anyone, but...
So who was the original architect for this house?
Richard Castles was the first architect employed to do the east front of the house in 1730.
Of course, Richard Castles also designed Powerscourt House and...
Powerscourt in Leinster, yeah.
And then what other architects followed him?
James Wyatt and Thomas Ivory were later employed.
Oh, of course, in Clube, of course. The dining room is in a very elegant space too, isn't it?
This is where the family would have eaten, designed by James Wyatt, and probably one of the most spectacular rooms, I think, in the house, with its original stucco walls and ceiling. And the Jamaican mahogany doors.
This drawing room is a magnificent space.
Yeah, the drawing room is lovely. The two main features in here would be the sky ceiling, which was 19th century, hand-painted, and also the parquet floors, which would have been put in about 1858.
The entrance hall, this is a wonderful space, isn't it?
Fantastic, yeah. No, this was designed by Richard Castles. Barrel vaulted ceiling, and...
yes, all that stucco work.
The bedrooms were on the top floor. There would have been about 10 bedrooms upstairs. They would have had dressing rooms adjoined to them.
So the typical lord's room now, would that be separate to the ladies' room?
Well, there would have been a smaller room adjoined to the main bedroom, which would have been where the men would have slept and dressed. And in those days, I think the wives basically invited the husbands in when they felt like it.
Right.
You know, and in a way it was quite romantic because
yes.
they had their own space and...
Right, so
you know,
she would invite him in when she felt like it, when it suited her.
And also if he was out, I suppose, gallivanting and came in drunk, he could stay, you know, he could stay put in his own room. There would have been a lot of servants. One kitchen, which was the main kitchen, was downstairs in the basement, and that would have been kind of the servants' quarters, so to speak. And you know, there would have been bells down there, and if the bell rang, there was a sort of sign that came up saying what room the servant had to go to. There were 40 fireplaces here. 40
fireplaces?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Which obviously there would have been someone just, because that would have been their only form of heat. So someone had to be running around lighting the fires every day. At one stage there were 50 gardeners here.
50 gardeners alone?
Yeah, yeah.
Just doing landscaping?
I do love the house, and I mean it's been in the family now for 300 years, and every generation has had their own struggles. I think it's sort of in my blood to work hard and do as much as we can to make sure that the house moves into the next generation in one piece. Obviously, in order to do that, the estate has to become viable.
Later in the programme, we'll see how Sheelin is managing to bring a huge historic building like Westport House into the 21st century. I'm back in Mayo to see Sheelin Brown of Westport House. And they've just started restoring this elegant architectural masterpiece. The house was opened to the public in the 1960s, and it now attracts over 60,000 visitors a year. Although the family no longer live in the house, they're determined to maintain it, make it a viable business, and keep it open to the public.
We're doing the main roof of the house at the moment, which really for 20 years we've been talking about trying to do. And finally, we got a lot of support from the Heritage Council and
What sort
in
of
order to
problems?
do it.
Yeah.
Well, there was water pouring in.
Right, and of course, all of that, the damage it will do to the wonderful stucco work inside and the timber
No,
work.
I mean, it would be terrible. And in the end, the house would just become a ruin. The last time the roof was done was in 1900.
What sort of work is going on now? How extensive is it?
Very extensive. They're redoing the entire roof. There's 40 chimneys on the roof, and about 20 of those were in a state of kind of total decay.
So you could have fires in the house too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there was a fire risk. They had to replace all the lead work, and they've used copper for the gullies. Everything has got to be exactly as it was. Mark is the foreman up there, so he'll be able to...
Is he up there?
He's up there now.
Do you mind
so-
if I go up and look?
Not a bit, off you go.
Thanks, Sheila.
Good luck.
Yeah, see you in a few minutes. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Doctor.
How are you?
Pleased to meet you.
You got a lovely spot up here.
A lovely spot. Yes.
Tremendous view.
Yeah. Yes.
Was there a lot of leaks through the roof?
There's actually a lot of leaks, and therefore we've had to put an overhead canopy over the total structure of the building.
So you're putting new lead down here,
I'm
are
actually
you?
putting the new lead work down. So we're actually renewing using a Cord 8 lead, of which we have to dress over timber roll bars. And we actually lay the timber roll bars, which we have underneath the lead, and actually
This is
form
a
the
roll
lead.
bar here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the roll bar.
In timber?
What I actually do is use a wooden wedge, which is this tool, to actually dress the lead, of which I form like that, into the roll so it's tight and it actually grips within the roll.
So then this rolls over the first layer this way, does it?
Yes.
And then the other layer comes back over the other way, does
Yes, just for the extra protection.
Oh, you're reslating the whole roof?
Yeah.
Did you manage to salvage the original site?
A lot of them, yeah, we did salvage them. And we're going to replace as many as the original ones as we can. Over the years, the nails had rotted, so a lot of the slates were slipping down, the water penetration getting into the building.
The heads are gone, gone,
Yeah.
and they're just sliding down.
Yeah.
Right.
We're using copper nails now,
Right, so
so
they're gonna
there's
get
no corrosion, yeah, you get a lot longer life.
Other parts of the house also need immediate attention.
Okay, so we're down in the basement of the house now. So as you can see, there's a lot of rising damp and also a lot of damp coming through the stonework, probably. We're below ground level now, so that's the reason why there is so much damp in this area, probably. We're hoping to open up this area next year as a tea room. So obviously, this is the kind of thing we're up against in this house. It's just a lot of work and a lot of cost.
The big challenge for a home like this is the amount of energy needed to heat it and keep decay resulting from dampness at bay.
It's very difficult to heat the house.
Well, there's a lot you can do. I mean, you can obviously insulate the roof
Yeah.
with a lot of insulation in your attic. You can't do anything with the walls and the windows, unfortunately, but you can bring in a new heating system into the house. And with the amount of land on the domain, renewable fuel could be grown like short rotation coppice willow for use in a wood chip boiler. The adjoining large Westport Woods Hotel uses this type of heating, and they have a huge energy demand. So if they can do it, Westport House can certainly be heated both economically and ecologically. So what are your plans, Sheila, for the house?
The idea would be to become more commercial with the house, introduce weddings, make the house more used. And actually next year we're opening from the 1st of March till the end of October, so we are slowly extending the season.
This house really brought tourism to Westport, didn't it?
I think it definitely did help hugely towards putting Westport on the map.
Westport House has become an important cultural heritage site and is a magnificent example of stately homes of a former era in Ireland's social history.